Hello, greetings, and welcome everyone to this news video. I am the Ninjaneer, and first, a correction. I mentioned in my previous video that there was a limit of 2,000 for the amount that you could invest in this particular crowdfunding situation. What I did not do, and what I normally do that I should have, was go back to the source, or in this case, the SEC website. Normally what I do is I go and click back through the articles and whatever I'm talking about to go to the original source before I actually report on something, and I did not do that this time, and my due diligence was not done and resulted in this gentleman by the name of Kevin Scott 8642 for actually issuing that correction. So thank you so much for Mr. Kevin Scott for actually going to the links of letting me know that I got this wrong. I am more than happy to correct it. So let's go ahead and jump to the SEC website and see what it actually says. It took me a little bit of digging to figure out where to go for this, but at the end of the day, this is what should actually have been said in the last video. Where the purchaser is not an accredited investor, as identified by Rule 501, the aggregate amount of securities sold to such an investor across all issuers in reliance on Section that number of the Securities Act during the 12-month period preceding the date of such a transaction, including securities sold to an investor in such a transaction, shall not exceed. All of that fancy language was just to say, you can't invest more than this in 12 months, and then they give you the criteria below. So, here we go. The greater of 2,500 or 5% of the greater of the investor's annual income or net worth. So, if either the investor's annual income or net worth is less than $124,000. So, if you make less than $124,000 per year, the maximum amount that you can put in is 5% of your $124,000 per year, or $6,200. If you make something less than what would have facilitated that $2,500 being 5% of your income, then you would actually be putting in $2,500 maximum. So you can put in the greater of either $2,500 or 5% of your income if it's below $124,000. All right, that's the first criteria. $6,200 is the maximum you can give if you make less than $124,000 a year. Next piece, 10% of the greater of the investor's annual income or net worth, not to exceed an amount sold of $124,000. If both the investor's annual income and net worth are equal to or more than $124,000. So, if you make more than $124,000, you can only invest a maximum of $124,000 if that number, if you make more than $124,000 a year. So, to max this out, you would have to make, let's see how much you have to make per year. It would be, if you wanted to do a maximum of $124,000, you would divide by 0.0. You divide by, okay, 124,000. Okay, I did that wrong. So, let's go ahead and clear this out and make sure. So, 124,000 divided by 10% equals, so if you make $1.24 million per year, you can theoretically max out the CF offering for $124,000 for this particular situation. Long story short, if you make more than $124,000, the most you can invest is $124,000. If you make less than $124,000, the maximum you can invest is $6,400. So, the range is a min-max situation of $2,500. If you make less than that 5% making up the $2,500, you can go from $2,500 all the way up to $124,000 depending on your financial situation. So the range that I should have given, instead of just giving a flat number, would have been $2,500 to $124,000 depending on your financial situation. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and start the topics for today. The topics for today are as follows. Webinar thoughts. I might be at Electrify Expo in Denver. Japanese banks are abandoning Toyota. And things that I liked. Let's go ahead and jump in. So, Aptera had a webinar. It was a fantastic webinar in my opinion, very fun to watch, very interesting information that they shared. This investor webinar was later put onto Aptera Owners Club's channel, and you have the opportunity to watch the full thing there. I will put a link to that in my description. However, I wanted to go ahead and talk about the things that perked my ear, like made me interested in the presentation as we went through it. So this is kind of like a commentary situation. I'm not going to actually pull up the presentation per se. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the slides that I took screenshots of as the presentation was happening. So the first slide that I'm pulling up here is the strategic alliances that Aptera has put together for this PI build situation and for mass production later on. You can see all of the stuff here that they put, all the folks here that they put in here. Some of these are new, like the Herschler Automotive Glass Solutions. Let's see, CTNS we already knew about, Maxion we already knew about, Costamp is one that I was unfamiliar with. Roush is one that I was also familiar with, Cherry Automotive and CPC and all that kind of stuff. All of these were basically already known, but a few of these were new Aptera partnerships, and I was just putting that out there because I thought some of those partnerships were pretty darn cool. The next picture that the next slide that I took a picture of because it was also very interesting was a composite breakdown. Basically, all of the composites that are going to be in the vehicle that are laid bare here. There's no metals. There's no crazy stuff like that. And well, sorry, the composites here, but there are also some metals down at the bottom here, and I'm guessing some metals right there. But yeah, basically they're using lightweight composites and stuff instead of steel, and I just thought it was cool to look at the little doodads and things like that were going on in the picture. I've just been kind of looking at, marveling at the engineering going on here. So yeah, it's one of those things that I was like, oh, this is a really cool slide to have in the thing. So yeah, nothing too terribly fascinating or new to glean from this except for the fact that now you can see a picture of the composite body in its entirety. And this slide kind of shows the delegated roles to the folks that are doing what they're doing for Aptera. Just looking at the stuff here, we got industry-leading market knowledge for product design, cost, and benchmarking. Solar stuff, designs, manufactures, sells advanced solar power panels. Global lithium battery company which possesses core technologies and solutions. Basically, it shows what they bring to the table and then what exactly they are doing for Aptera. Then it also shows you the experience, the people that they've worked with in the past. So yeah, this was a fun slide because it was just good to look at this stuff and see it kind of broken down into slide form. So yeah, good times there as well. This slide showed kind of a rough idea of where they are with respect to production supply chain. They only have 3% left before they are completely done and ready to just roll into production. I think that is fantastic, but yeah, you can see the closures, the bank exteriors, the lighting, battery, all that kind of stuff, just their progress on that stuff. And honestly, they are a little bit farther ahead than even I thought they were, because when they were saying that they had X amount of the body produced and they had the lighting and stuff, I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, there's so many more systems that they haven't necessarily talked about them being done with, that I would have liked to have seen them being done with, making more progress on. And so I'm glad to say that this is the slide that I was waiting for, because it shows all of the stuff that I was thinking that they needed, and where their progress was on that. So this is a lot more context, and I love that context. Okay, and then they talked about their validation plans. I am very excited about getting all of this stuff, seeing all of this stuff happen through the eyes of Aptera, maybe through the eyes of a few YouTubers that get the opportunity to see some of this testing or what have you. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a pretty darn fun experience to kind of be a part of. Yeah, so they're doing structural validation, electrical validation, driving validation, and then testing for general road testing, impact, and that kind of stuff. It all makes sense. You want to make sure your structure's good, then you can put your electrical stuff in the structure, then you can drive the structure around after you get the suspension put on it, and then you want to make sure that it's safe for people, and then you want to go ahead and get it out there. So this line of logic makes sense, and this line of testing also makes sense. Okay, so this one slide kind of got me super excited about their testing processes. Not for anything else on this slide except for the fact that they said that they are going to accumulate mile testing of up to 1 million miles plus. If you're testing your vehicle up to 1 million miles, that is a pretty good indicator that you expect it to last a long time. And since this is the last car I ever want to buy, that is a great sign, a great comfort to me as somebody who is planning on making this their forever vehicle. All right, the interesting piece of news on this slide is that they should have the PI coming together by July/early August. So this PI build, the first PI build, I'm assuming, will have everything as if it were about to roll out to a customer. So I am deeply looking forward to that, and I want to make it up there somehow to test it or something. Like I'm trying to figure out how to get over there. And, you know, if finances allow, I'll make it over there and get you guys a really good impression of what I think of the PI build. So we'll see how that goes. Slide 21 was interesting because they kind of reaffirmed what exactly they were doing with their production targets and their numbers and things like that. They want to be at full capacity to produce over 20,000 vehicles within a year of the start of production. This is going to essentially mean that for 2025, when they start putting their vehicles out, they're not going to be able to hit that 20,000 right away, but by maybe mid 2026, they'll have full 20,000 vehicle ramp up and things like that. They hope to also have you know, the ability to make those 20,000 in this one facility. So that was another cool piece of information that I'm glad that they reaffirmed as time goes on. I'm looking for the little changes and things that they have to make to make their production numbers work, and I'm glad that this particular one stayed firm. All right, so slide 23, they're basically just showing how they expect their progress, their production to ramp up over the course of the next few years. First production delivery is they're expecting Q1 of 2025, and then 5,000 units delivered by the end of 2025, and then 2026 they want to have 20,000 plus units delivered. So for those of you who were in the latter number of that 20-ish thousand people that have pre-ordered, the total number now is 47,000. So if you're 20,000 up to 47,000, I'm expecting you to get your vehicles either 2027 or early 2028, and they'll be caught up. So after they catch up, that'll just be purely, you know, making vehicles for people to purchase on online or what have you, and they'll be caught up in that kind of thing. I'm expecting that after they have them on the road, that the reservations are going to increase and spike. There's a video that I saw on my way back home that Aptera Owners Club put out that said something similar, that they expect that he expects to have a large spike in pre-orders after they're actually delivering vehicles, and I agree with that assessment wholeheartedly. So this is a breakdown of the demographics of the people that are actually reserving Apteras or have reserved in Aptera. The top 10 states by reservations, age and gender, all that kind of stuff broken down in nice numbers. If you want to, you can go ahead and check out these numbers, pause it and look through it, but I'm not going to dwell on this too much except to show you that the numbers of people that are actually interested in Aptera, that are looking at Aptera, things like that, fan pages and what have you. This is a breakdown of the people that are actually interested in Aptera, and I believe that this breakdown is only going to become more universal as they get to production. Now, I don't know if you guys remember some time ago when they mentioned that they're going to be delivering to places where there's a lot of people ordering the Aptera first, but this is a breakdown of the people that are ordering the Aptera first, the concentrations of people that are interested in it. And so you see here Seattle and Portland and Sacramento and Los Angeles and San Diego and Denver and all sorts of places across the country are really interested in getting the Aptera, and so these are the places where they're going to be delivering first. So you can see all these spots here, all these spots in red, and honestly, generally speaking, this is the entire country is interested in Aptera, and I expect that that interest is only going to increase as deliveries start. So I am deeply ready and waiting for them to get to the production, moving into production, that kind of thing, because it's going to, like, if your interest is already this strong in most of the country, then when people see these things rolling around and more people start saying stuff like, oh, your car doesn't charge itself, I thought it was going to charge it. Yeah, my car charges itself. What are you doing? Yeah, that's gonna push the Aptera's production numbers and demand into the stratosphere. So can hardly wait to see that. This slide shows brand appeal. Brand appeal is pretty strong, man. Like, people who are 18 to 24 have a 40% likely to purchase response here. Half of the sample preferred Aptera over Tesla. 49% preferred Aptera over Tesla, the Nissan Leaf, and the Chevy Bolt. That makes perfect sense, because if your car is charging itself, like, what other car can compare? Like, that's what I was saying before, like their perfect slogan. Your car doesn't charge itself? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, man, it's great to see that there are so many people that would buy this over a Tesla or any other electric vehicle because of the advantages that Aptera offers. They can see the advantages and want it as a result. All right, Aptera Solar with, let's see, I believe this company is Polydrop. Yeah, anyway, Polydrop is a... Yep, Polydrop is a company that builds very aerodynamic trailers, and Aptera Owners Club actually speculated that this was the partnership that they were about to announce, and they were correct about that. So Polydrop is going to be partnering with Aptera, putting their solar on top of the vehicle that they are making, the trailer that they are making. I am really curious to see more about this company as time goes on, and see how their trailer pans out. I figure if I'm going to get a trailer, it's going to be one that is very aerodynamic, and so this would be pretty top of the list when it comes to what I'm looking for if I ever do get a trailer. Now, this is the slide that I'm going to show everyone ever from now on when it comes to cost of ownership. It is night and day difference how much solar charging on a efficient vehicle can change, can make when it comes to cost of ownership. So operating expenses per year, $300. Nobody's even close. 10-year cost of ownership, nobody's even close. It's hard for me to even fathom these numbers as I was looking at them and they were showing them on the screen, because it is so unbelievable. And I've done calculations myself in a previous video about how it is very possible to not have to spend any money on charging if you only use Aptera for your commute and things like that. So making your commute and your 40 miles a day free, like that's, yeah, it's going to be a game changer. And them kind of confirming the cost of ownership being as low as I was thinking it was is fantastic, but it is also going to be a value proposition that I don't think there's anybody out there that would just outright ignore, unless they, you know, don't like saving money or something for some reason. Alright, I love this piece here showing the stark difference between the efficiencies of Aptera and other vehicle types or vehicles in the market right now. As you can imagine, being higher up and further to the right hand side, or your left hand side I believe if you're watching this video, being up here in the top corner is really crazy good, and being over here is less so. You can see the 3s and the 4s and the 5s, and this one's, yeah, Aptera's up in the 10s and what have you. It's just crazy to actually see on a chart how different Aptera's efficiency is compared to everybody else. So yeah, good times there. I just thought that slide was fun because the difference is gigantic. Alright, the last things that I thought, the last slide rather, that I thought was really super interesting was Aptera is already working on their IPO strategy. They have the NASDAQ symbol Sun A. There's a thing that Chris said that I'm going to probably reference at some point in the near future here for the wrap up to this section. But anyway, yeah, they already have their IPO strategy that they're working out. I cannot wait to see what exactly their IPO strategy is so I can continue investing in them. But yeah, at this point, they have a symbol. The ticker symbol that they have is Sun A, and good times there. The last couple of things that I thought were interesting, they mentioned during this presentation that they need $65 million for their ability to reach the 6,000 production volume and profitability situation. So $65 million for profitability, $85 million to scale to 20,000 units per year, which they are hoping to raise through sales of Apteras and other crowdfunding situations, or other large banks and things like that actually funding them, because after they get to production, I'm pretty sure people will be throwing money at them. They need $260 million for the 6 to 8 plants that they are going to be making over the course of the next few years, and to enhance their cash flow and increase their margins and things like that. Yeah, good times there. Yeah, just a bunch of great stuff in this video that I was not necessarily expecting, but I am so glad that they included pieces of the puzzle that I am glad they included, because I was predicting them in my head. I didn't get to do a prediction video this time around, even though I really wanted to, but I was right for 2 of the things that I thought would happen. And one of the things that I kind of thought might happen actually ended up happening as well. So overall, I enjoyed it very much. At any rate, that is the coverage that I have for the Aptera webinar. For the next thing here, Japanese banks are abandoning Toyota. This is a story that the J people covered. Jalopnik, we'll say Jalopnik. Jalopnik covered through Reuters, and Reuters covered through Bloomberg, and Bloomberg covered through sources. it was kind of convoluted. But long story short, there are banks that are divesting their shares in Toyota because they are less than okay with Toyota cheating on their emissions, or so the rumors go. So yeah, they're dealing with the fallout from that. So I'm hoping Toyota can right themselves and get into electric vehicles and all that kind of fun stuff before it is too late. The Electrify Expo is going to be July 13th and 14th of this year, and I plan on going. So if you guys are going to be going out there as well, throw me a line or something, say hello when you see me. I expect this to be a pretty cool event, and yeah, like I said, I'm trying to make it out there. I don't know for certain if I'll make it out there yet, but I'm fairly certain that I will be out there. So I'm just like, hey, if you see me, say hello, because I will be more than happy to say hi to you guys and nerd out about EVs and things like that. Alright, and now for things that I liked. Aptera did... Wow, Aptera, wow. Drive the Lightning did an interview with the gentleman that fits solar panels or makes a solar panel fold-out situation that goes on top of your car and charges your car and things like that. This gentleman was named Patrick Sherwin. His company is named GoSun.co. I have not had the opportunity to look deeply into his company yet, but I do plan on doing something later on, maybe talking about his company in more detail. But yeah, the video itself was fun. The interview was fun. The gentleman, Patrick Sherwin, is a great communicator. Yeah, just an overall fun video and a great addition to the things that I liked and to this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am the Ninjaneer. If you'd like to do the YouTube-y things, use the links that are abundant around me. Thank you so much for your time, and yeah, hope to catch you guys soon.